Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. Uh, oh my God, this week, this transit, it's really interesting because we're in the gate of logical opinions, right? Gate 17, and it's a very interesting gate because this is potentially a ground for people budging their heads, to defend their opinions, and I find myself actually thinking how many opinions I have about everything this week. And it's not necessarily always a conflict or something, but this week I'm confronting everything around me, and I have an opinion about everything, and I have to hold back a little bit and also just remind myself. And this is one of the situations when I'm thinking, thank God for me covering these transits, because if I didn't have the accountability even to Anita to get together, prepare for the transits, and I would just, life interferes and you can get carried away, but then you get carried away with these energies, and lose control completely over what's going on, and and also lose the grounding, which is so important for us. And so this is this time where there's so much the head, it's a Najna gate, so there's a lot of processing and formalization. This is hence the opinions that's happening through this, very logic, finding solutions to tricky problems. Oh my God, I literally see how things that I was, for example, last couple of weeks, there was one specific thing. Don't want to reveal it now because it might be a big reveal later. But there was one specific thing that I thought, okay, I have to do this, and I was looking for a solution because I knew that it was a lot of work. And just yesterday, the solution just came to me that helped me create a shortcut. And I was laughing because in my book I'm talking about projectors who are so good at shortcuts because we just don't have the sustainable energy to do it in a traditional way. So we have to find a more effective way to get where we need to go. And so these are kind of breakthroughs that happening because your mind is quite busy looking for solutions, but also it's really important not to get too caught in some ideas and solutions and systems that we're developing right now, because they're still just ideas. And it's really important, I think, that when we have a transit in a gate that is in the head of ajna and creates a lot of mental chatter or thinking or processing something, that we don't get too caught in the details and we don't grab onto it. Also expectations, manage your expectations, because it's still just like, it's just a planning, it's just thinking, it's not a guarantee. You can of course test your ideas out. Like I when I found this solution that I just like mysteriously mentioning, I went to check it, and of course there could have been a situation there where I probably couldn't, make it happen. In fact, I made a third line mistake where I made a much worse mistake trying to, test this solution. But thankfully it was reverted. And now I can see that the best approach to this transit, and this is something that through my research as well came up, is that leave the wiggle room in what's possible. Don't be like, you might form an opinion or you might have this plan or an idea and it's very logical and everything is good, but just try and choose the path of least resistance in a way, because if you're grabbing onto every little idea, it can be actually messier and harder for you to implement and not go as smoothly as you can expect. And of course, we have this grounding energy, the earth in gate 18, the gate of correction. And I know that energy very well. Both of my Mercuries are in gate 18. And it's all about, like my personality, Mercury is in 18.3, line 3. Line 3 is like obsessive cleaning of the house. So if something is not aligned, I can't rest, So, and this is, okay, take that, like you see something is out of alignment, and it could be better. This is what we're all experiencing kind of this week. And then you take these opinions and off you go, let's say nagging your husband or something, it's like you just can't stop because you want to, you are unhappy that you need to eat healthier, you want to tidy up, you want to recreate things, and there is a lot of energy that are helping us, but again, just don't overdo it, right? And of course we have also, if you have harmonic gate 62 in your chart, this is this is forming the channel of acceptance. And it's really interesting because it's really good. It gives you this brain power to connect the ideas and put pieces of puzzle together so they make sense. There is a lot of openness, so this channel of acceptance is very interesting because it is about the capacity to embrace life as it is, create space for emotional security. It's also in its good and higher, expression. You can make others, or you can feel seen, heard, accepted in your uniqueness. Isn't this the message that we're trying to spread, right? Like how to be seen, how to show up, and how to see others and accept everyone in their uniqueness, So this is a wonderful, wonderful energy. So that's my little summary. It might feel challenging. I had a few challenges thrown at me this week when I thought everything is perfect and wonderful. It's like, bang, how are you going to solve this problem, Mary Poppins? That's how I felt. But you know what? It's all good. We will get through it. Don't get into drama. And, I think that there's also other things, not that I think, I know, and I'm going to pass the mic to Anita because we have so much more going on that's also contributing to this whole thing. And I know you have a lot to share with us, Anita, today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough energy potentially. I mean, you might feel like you've headaches because if you're a projector or a generator, you're not normally connected to the throat. You find that the ajna is connected, so you might find a full-on over talking, over expressing yourself. You might find your head is running in circles trying to make sense of the information that's coming in. But the truth with this energy now is that this channel is fully defined this week. It's been the channel 1762 has been defined since the 22nd of March. So post equinox, you might find that you feel compelled to reorganize things, to reorganize your work or reorganize your home, or depending where this energy is activated in your chart. And it's directly connected to the throat, and then it's connecting 35, 36 channel is also connected. So really what I'm learning from these transits is that they're teaching us, well, what we're going to be learning next. What are we going to be learning next? What's coming up for us to learn? How are our lives in this particular theme impacted? Because the biggest lesson is, what details and opinions am I utilizing that are creating chaos and crisis in my life? And with that 35, 36, it's kind of boredom leads me to take action, and the action throws me into crisis. Or I tune in intuitively to see, well, in this realizing that this and that these details aren't actually necessary anymore. I can start focusing on the details that will support my manifesting instead. I mean, this is really key because that 1718 Sun and Earth, when they connect together, what they're saying is, what details can I focus on to bring more flow? Because if I'm not bringing more flow, I'm going to be more critical. This is the energy when you're stressed or out of balance. You can be hard on yourself. You can be critical. And, if you look at it, this energy is in the transits activated until the end of March. We have the eclipse in the gate 17 in 2 days' time, which is it's a cosmic flush of opinions that are taking you off track. And while they might have been right yesterday, they're no longer correct for you. So it's time to release them because they are generating that crisis, right? A lot of what can be generating the crisis is your type. Like a 5-1, you might try to fix the crisis. The manifesting generator might try to rescue the crisis. And I'm saying, no, do the fireman on it, step back from the crisis, don't jump in, and just assess what needs to be done to bring more flow. So the transits are literally guiding us on how to reevaluate our crises, how to talk about them, how to think about them. Because, the whole point is, and I remember a business tycoon here, I can't remember his name, unfortunately, he said, most opportunities don't come in with rainbows and roses. They come in through some kind of crisis, through some kind of challenge that you either see through it or not. And I know as projectors, we do see through it a lot. We don't have time to spend all that time in the crisis. It's such a waste of time and energy. But this 35, 36 crisis or miracle energy, right? You're either manifesting miracles or you're manifesting crises. This energy has been in since December on and off and will be here until the 7th of April. So these 2 weeks are leading up to the 30th of March. Reorganize, check out what you're doing, how you're doing it, whether it's your space or reorganize the details that are contributing to crisis and change them to details that bring more flow. Then the first 2 weeks in April, we're moving into a very initiating time, where you are really gathering the changes that need to be made from that crisis. And then the middle of April, it's all systems go, um, moving in. So if you're in business now, reorganize your programs or whatever you need to do. The first couple of weeks in April, get those changes done in your system, and then also, launch for middle of April into early May. It's just perfect timing. But so just realizing there's a full connection from the ajna through the throat right down to your emotion center. So the other side of, you're either manifesting miracles if you can stay calm and focused and composed. Easier said than done, I know, because the energy is very distracting. But
Mm.
the Uranus has just moved into the gate 8, which means that how can I focus the details in a way that I'm making that contribution that is reciprocal for me? So it's a really good, potentially opening up for financial gain over the next few months, if that's something that you're interested in. And it's a tweak in a program here, a tweak in a program there can suddenly make it more magnetic. And if you look at your program and kind of say, right, okay, or whatever it is you're doing, your package or your whatever you're doing in your business, and say, what can I do here to bring more flow? You'll find that you'll get ideas and intuition about what needs to change, and it just brings you into a whole different arena of expressing yourself through your business and making the contribution you want to make. Does
That
that?
is so beautiful, and it's really true because, when you're looking, sometimes when I know when post this question, what can you do to bring you in the flow? Actually, a lot of people kind of confused by this question. I find, so I see the baffled faces, but the truth is that what can you take off your plate? Because usually what puts us in the flow is simplification. It's not making things more complex, because with complexity comes overwhelm. And it's also true that we don't have to do things just because somebody out there does things a certain way, or because somebody out there says that how things should be done. There's so many people getting hooked up on shoots and perfection and waiting to be ready and making sure that all the details are ready, and none of that really is important to start with, whether you're looking at it from the cosmic or human design point of view or just a pure business point of view, you know and all these things are just holding you back and creating more friction. So I think that this is a really good period right now to find the solutions, to form opinions, to look, to give, a little bit of a clearance, because we have all the planets that, you mentioned to me, the retrograde Mars and Mercury retrograde, perfect time for revisiting things and redoing. So don't rush into, unless you really feel and your strategy and authority, opens the perfect kind of road for you to take action now. Of course, take action now. We never say to you, don't do things that you feel like, there's a big yes for them.
Yeah.
But also, this is a good time to think a little longer and say, okay, now it's the time for me to tweak, to create, to take things off the plate that don't have to be there, that don't, it's not about even having this lightning bolt excitement. This is what a lot of people are looking for in their businesses and marketing, like, oh, my marketing doesn't bring me joy. But to define what this bringing joy looks like, they don't do that, so they're not actually, they expect some sort of like, I don't know, ecstatic, oh my God, I can't wait to write this article. We don't feel like that most of the time. Most
Yeah.
of the time that doesn't happen. So don't look for things that, redefine what does it look to you to feel joy from something. Maybe some activities is not where you need to look for joy in the first place. Maybe you can find joy in some other activities in your life, and then being joyful and satisfied with that, you can do what you need to do in a neutral way, right? And that also brings flow.
Yeah.
So
Can I
this
add
is a good
something?
time to look into
Yeah.
that, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And a really important point I need to say is that also over this next couple of weeks, on the 30th, Neptune, which is activating the gate, well, was activating the gate 36, is moving into Aries. So you're going to feel way more clarity. And what we're talking about reorganizing are things that you know already aren't working,
Yeah.
right? You know already they aren't working, but that clarity is going to come. Saturn has moved into that gate 36 now, and it brings a reality check. Okay, do you really need to be fixing this person's crisis or that person's crisis? Do you really need to be getting yourself involved in things that are not necessarily yours? And so not only will you feel like reorganizing, if you don't know what to reorganize anything, a kitchen press, just reorganize whatever, just to get that reorganizing energy going. And as you do that brain dead stuff, the ideas come through, right, of what you might do in your work that would be different. But even asking the universe, what will bring more flow? You'll recognize that flow when you get your inner yes.
Mm,
Say
true.
it this way. Does it bring more aliveness to you? Because that's more flow. If you're in more flow, your message brings more flow, right? So reorganize until the end of March. First couple of weeks in April are getting clarity on what you want to launch or whatever that is. So it really is, we're coming through the crucible of this year. The March and April are the two big changing months in this year. And all that cloudiness from Neptune being in Pisces for that since 2011.
Oh
It
God.
now, yeah, I know, right? It's starting to, it's like the clouds are moving and you're literally getting clearer on what it is you truly want to do as opposed to what you thought you want to do. So you can see how the energies come in beautifully. The opinions that you gave kudos up to now, are you realizing that not necessarily for you? And we don't have to fight with those opinions. We just have to say, oh, as they say in Ireland, it's just not my cup of tea. Love the idea, and it's not for me, and moving on from there. So it really is a fabulous time to check in with yourself. Where are you hard on yourself? Where are you negating yourself or negating others? And just use the energy to see where it brings more flow. Get out of the fight of it, get out of the crisis, and step back into evaluating what needs to happen. It's actually really cool energy.
Brilliant. And actually, I thank you for adding this not news, but this whole thing about the energy moving from 2011, because I think a lot of people, I read even somewhere that 2011 was this year, I think, of solar minimum, but it was a year for many people, very, very crisis year. For me, definitely. I remember describing 2011, it's like you're falling into a bottomless pit and you just keep falling. There's no bottom. So one thing after another, after another, after another. And I think that ever since 2011, I personally, even though it springboarded me into the life that at the time, I couldn't even imagine I'd be living the life I'm living now.
Yeah.
But it was this almost like I have to do this, I have to get out of this pit that I fell into, so I am looking forward to more clarity and a little bit less weird energy that there's just, you just don't know what's going on, so this is
Absolutely.
really, really cool. Guys,
Yeah.
stay with us. We will be back in the next transit. Everything is good. These energies, they're only here for a few days, or in terms of big planets, of course there's a bit longer, but when you're aware what's going on, you don't blame yourself. And this is what I love about this, and this is why we're doing this. When you're aware that there's influence from the outside, then you can, you can surf the wave and you don't have to be swallowed by the wave. So we will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics. Thank you so much, and goodbye.